All right, welcome everyone. This is Dr. Pam Denton. And for those of you watching the recording, I wanted to make sure that you got this important story and process for your own life to lead in new ways in this challenging world. So I created Leadership Conversations, this circle, as a way for leaders to sink into the challenges that we're facing right now and have a psychologically safe space to process through what it is that we need to process. So, and that is the question, what do we need to process through? So what you'll experience in this circle today is a three-part series. Well, actually 4 parts. Bo Lockwood is here with us, and he is a corporate conversion, I call it, meaning shifted out of corporate America into leading his own business, and has a very powerful story of becoming a meditative leader. I think that is the really amazing part of your story, Bo. But Bo is going to be kicking us off with a story. And when we use story, what we want to do is lean into this and really reflect on our own lives. Like, how does Bo's story reflect back at us what we need to do with our leadership and our life right now as the world is shifting at an enormous rate? I call it the age of acceleration. So after Bo shares his story, and the topic is having a bold conversation with yourself, which is something that I've had to do throughout my life as a mental health survivor, I call myself. I've had to have some really bold conversations with myself, and it started at a young age. It was like what I call my higher self kind of kicked in and started coaching me. So that's what this work is all about, activating your higher coach so that you can see your life from a different perspective. So first through Bo's story, and then Hillary's going to take us into a regulation exercise, which means closing your eyes, breathing, and coming into what we call rest and digest, meaning I'm going to digest through breath work and movement some of the energies that are stress in my system. And then from that place, we're going to ask a journaling question, and then we'll share. And then the third part of it is, what do I need to activate in my leadership to face the challenges that I'm facing right now? So it's a formula I've used for years, and it's so powerful when you allow yourself to trust and surrender this process. So for those of you watching the recording, we're only going to take you through the regulation into the question. So you can journal on the question and then come to our next circle in 2 weeks, and we'll dive back in, and around it goes in the spiral, and we get to spiral deeper and deeper into connection with ourselves as strong, bold, courageous leaders, possibly leading change, leading your own businesses, leading your own lives, your health, your money, your families, whatever it is to you today. Your leadership is very important. So I'll turn it over to Bo, and he'll start with his story, and then we'll move into our regulation practice, and we'll see what happens, because we're stepping into the unknown here. Thank you, Bo, for being here with us. I'll unmic and get us going.
Yeah, thank you, Pam. I appreciate you having me on. I really enjoy the opportunity to share what I've learned about myself through this whole process. I've had a very tumultuous life, and it started at birth. I came into this world almost dying, and I was born with an aorta valve that most people have 3 leaflets, and I had 2.5. And so what was happening was blood was leaking back. And so they told my parents that they weren't even sure if I was going to make it at birth. And then I made it through, and they said I would definitely have to have open heart surgery by the time I was 5. And I actually made it until I was 30. So at age 30, I had open heart surgery. But what's really interesting when I reflect back on my life path is that I've had major things happen in 15-year increments. It's just a pattern that showed up. So at birth, I almost died. At age 15, I got pinned against a tree by a car. It kind of like ran right into me, and I had a near-death experience. And I literally saw myself on the ground, and I floated above, and I was watching everything that was going on, and I couldn't move. And I just remember being on the ground, and I got pinned against the tree, and I was like wedged. So I knew that by squirming out, I was going to like tear my skin. And when I hit the ground, I literally just looked down at my legs, and every time my heart would pump, blood was just coming out of different holes, and I was just like trying to cover everything up. And my neighbor saw what happened, and she called my friend Kurt, and he came over. He was an Eagle Scout. He treated me. But the bottom line is, I was watching this whole experience from above in a complete state of bliss, and I wasn't in any pain at all. And it was just it was very surreal. So that happened at 15. Then at 30, I had my open heart surgery, which I mentioned. And then at age 45, I went through a very deep and dark divorce that really like sucked the life out of me and really crystallized how I didn't want to be on this earth anymore. And then most recently at age 60, I I had a brain bleed. I had my blood got way too thin, and my blood turned to water, and I had a brain bleed because I was on medication that kind of bumped it up too high. And I'm on warfarin as it is, which means I'm already on a blood thinner. So I took something else that kind of jacked it up. But it was actually a blessing in disguise because I ended up in the ICU for 8 days, and they had to give me a CAT scan. And through the CAT scan, they recognized that I have an aneurysm on my heart. So I not only have an aortic valve, that I have a St. Jude valve, which is a stainless steel valve, but I now have an aneurysm that's right next to it, and which means it's like a blister. And if it pops, I'm dead. It's that simple. There is no, I mean, dead within seconds. So there is no. I was sharing this with a friend of mine, and he said, "Wow, you're lucky. My mom had that, and when it popped, she died like right away." So I found some safety in that. So, but anyway, long story short, they want me to do a second open heart surgery now, and I've already decided that I'm not going to do it. I saw my dad go in and out of the hospital for 30 years as soon as he retired, and I swore I wasn't going to live that way. I'd rather be dead. But anyway, back to this. I'm now 60 years old, and I have completely changed my life because at age 45, when I went through that dark divorce, it really challenged me to look at myself in a new way, because I've been living a life paradigm of do, have, be, which means that I was living like most people, where we do to be able to have what we have, so we'll be okay. And that's a very typical American life paradigm. Since then, I have converted to the opposite. I'm now be, have, do. And I start with my sense of being, and I put myself first. I've really grown to love myself and accept myself and forgive myself for the way that I handled myself during the divorce. And I had a lot of healing and shedding to go through. And I continue to do the work. I mean, I've been to the Amazon jungle. I've done about a dozen ceremonies of ayahuasca. I've done mushroom ceremonies. I've done a lot of inner work. I've done 2 10-day Vipassana meditations, which have just been totally transformative. The first one I did was about survival, just being able to make it 10 days sitting in basically 9 square feet, for starts at 4:30 in the morning and goes till 9 o'clock at night. And we get some breaks in between. But anyway, it really brought me to a place of just becoming very comfortable within myself and realizing that I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And I'm no longer a victim of life, and I'm a student of life. So I'm not a victim, I'm a student. And I've grown to realize that all of these challenging experiences have led me to exactly where I am right now. And they all taught me something about myself. Everything that happens in our life is an opportunity for us to be able to take a look at ourselves in terms of what's happening in the outside world and reflect it back inside, because everything's a reflection. So there's a nugget in everything that's crazy and chaotic in this world. There's a blessing. So, for instance, with the chaos that's going on in our country, the blessing is that people are waking up, and we're beginning to unite more and more and more. So that's what I mean. Like in every dark thing, there's always light, and that's a big difference, because that's polarity. Polarity is the acceptance that the light, that the dark can't exist without the light and the light can't exist without the dark. That's polarity. Most people live in duality, which means that you're for something and against something else. That's why I personally don't have a lot of beliefs. The only beliefs that I have are those that are eternal. Because if it's a short-term belief, if it's anything that's based on temporary, it's an illusion. So I'm not a big person as far as beliefs. I have very few beliefs. I'm more into ideas. I love ideas and I love brainstorming. And I heard a great quote once, and it said that a teacup is at its maximum usefulness when it is empty. And I also learned that our brain activity actually goes up when we meditate. And we meditate. Why is that? It's like counterintuitive. But what I've learned is that when we quiet our minds, all the resistance, all the fearful thoughts, and all the worry, and all the stuff, all the monkey chatter that's going on in our mind, when that calms down, then our brain is actually more active and it's more creative. And that's when we really begin to open up in a new way. So I've gone over by a couple of minutes, so I don't want to continue on, but I just wanted to just share this at this point. So thank you.
Are you okay if we reflect on what you said, since
Sure.
we're a small group? Did anyone
Sure.
really, I mean, Bo's story, I've heard it probably, this is my third or fourth time, and you say it different every time. I knew that you had these near-death experiences and life challenges, but man, when you said it this time, it was so cohesive. And wow, wow, the fact that you're here. Wow, the fact that you have an aneurysm. So, what part of Bo's story touched you? I mean, for me, it's the miracle of life that you're here telling this story with the
Mm,
aneurysm,
mm,
riding along with
mm.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
May I say something? So I was fortunate and I feel extremely grateful and blessed to have met Bo. He really was, it was a spiritual moment. It was through Pam, she introduced me to him, and I just had to drive to go meet him. And,
It
I
was
went up to
fun.
Cala, yeah, and it was like this weird gravity pull that my heart and my mind and my soul needed calmness. And
Mm,
I wanted to do something that I was always afraid to do, which was go swim in the natural springs with the possibility of an alligator and manatee and fish. And I'm not a strong swimmer, and I did it. And we just stood there on these slippery rocks, locked arm in arm so we could balance each other on these rocks in this water. And I just really embraced this, like, powerful, I'm gonna tear up now, but it was this powerful, like, I don't know you, but I do know you, and
mm,
thank you for just sharing and being and doing what you're doing. And it's hard for me to articulate it all because I'm still processing everything, but I'm in that transformative stage, and the book Essence has really been my daily guide to just,
mm,
like, reminder. And so, Bo, you were supposed to have those situations, but you were supposed to still be here because
mm,
you're life changing, kind of like Tony Robbins has life changed
mm,
people. And
mm,
Mel Robbins, which is weird, they both have the same last name. So I kind of put you up with them, like, you're
oh, that's
really
really
at
sweet.
that level. So thank you
Mm,
for sharing. And I honor and respect your decision, because honestly, I was in senior living and I saw people
mm,
go in and out of the hospital, and you have a choice, quality or
exactly.
quantity. And
Exactly.
I respect the choice for quality. Um and you're here until God tells you, or till the heavens take you, or the universe, or the spirits come get you, whatever it is, you're here until then. And I'm just grateful. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. That means a lot. And we did have an amazing day. It was really nice having you come here. And if any of you want to come to the forest, I live in the middle of Ocala National Forest, which is 625 square miles of amazing woods. And we live right in the middle. And there's a beautiful spring there that we go swimming. And there's actually several springs in the area. And I actually have a park pass, which I can hop to the different springs. So it's really beautiful being here. So thank you, Jennifer.
It's awesome.
I
Anyone
love
else?
that, Jen. Thank you for telling us about meeting Bo. I didn't know you had both met, and I just love that story. And it really makes me just not realize, but strengthens my knowledge that we are all here on this planet at the same time and finding each other for a reason. And that
Exactly.
reason is to spread the light, really. And that's
Absolutely.
what we're doing here. And I really love, Bo, what you said about the cyclical nature of your episodes or events that happened. Because I believe in that too. I've just had some things happen to me recently that were very cyclical in nature and had to do a lot of processing on that and release some energies around those. So I love that. It's like the divine plan almost of a fingertip. I mean, a fingerprint or a snowflake that how is it so geometric? How is it so perfect? There's some kind of plan behind it. And that's what it feels like when you talk about your cycles, the 15-year
Thank you.
cycle.
It's interesting because a good friend of mine is an astrologer, and she looked at my chart and she said, your chart is the opposite of most people. Most people have a life path where their life continues to get more challenging the older they get. Yours goes the other way. You're going down. So she said at age 60, from age 60 on, you got like a great life ahead of you. Up until then, it was hell. So, but it's right in my chart as well. And the other thing I want to say that really drove my decision not to have another open heart surgery. I mean, there's many reasons, including that it puts 10 years on you, and I'm not ready to be 70. I'm 60 and I got good energy, and I want to go out and go riding and have fun again. But it would be a 3-year process, start to finish by the time you, and the first time I did it when I was 30, it took me a full year to recover. So here I am twice as old. So I figured it's going to take at least another year. So it's like, I'm not, nah. And so I also have an understanding, an agreement with spirit that I'm not going to die until my purpose is fulfilled. So I don't really care when that is, because when I graduated to realize that I'm a spiritual being, I realized that I'm eternal. And this is just simply a singular chapter in my infinite life. So I'm not scared to die. So, and another 30 years or whatever on on a timeline of infinite, it's just a speck of time. Like it's nothing. So I don't grapple. I don't like cling on to life the way that my dad was clinging on. I just know that I'm here till my purpose is fulfilled. And whenever it's fulfilled, then I can go at any time. And I'm totally confident and comfortable whenever that is. So that's it. But that really helps me because it helps me be bold. I mean, that's where the boldness comes from, at least for me. When I realize that I'm not fearful of dying, like if I don't fear dying, then what's there to be fearful of?
Right. And I feel the same way. And I have become more in tune with that actual spiritual being in a human experience.
So the other thing, I mean, I don't want to take up too much of this time because Pam, I don't know how much time, like what your schedule is for the call. So I don't want to monopolize anything
It's
in any
about
way.
flow.
Okay.
We're
All
flowing
right, cool.
with it. We're flowing
Right,
into
cool.
our own regulation in a moment. So go ahead, Bo.
I was just going to say one thing that I learned is that it's really difficult for me to see my growth as it's happening. And it's really, for me, I've been able to see my growth really in hindsight. And it's kind of like, I remember one time I was at the Jersey Shore and I was on a raft and I was just floating out in the ocean and I kind of like dozed off for a few minutes. And when I woke up, I was like way down the coastline. I mean, I had no idea how far I came. It's kind of like that. Like I use that analogy for myself in life where it's like I only can see my growth in hindsight, meaning like I went through that dark divorce that I mentioned, and I was not I was not grounded. I was not centered. I didn't know myself. I was lost in the material world, seeking and pursuing success, and acquired all this stuff. And it just, when it all hit me, I just realized I didn't want any of it. I went from being very attached to everything to like not being attached to much of anything. And what's happened since then is fascinating, because my former wife got remarried, and she kept accumulating and married a rich guy, and together they become even richer. And then there's me, who's gone the other way. Like I got rid of everything, and I live a very simple, peaceful life, and I don't have any debt, and I don't really have much overhead, and I just do what I want when I want, and I enjoy life. And I'm I'm happier now than when I had all the stuff. So it really was a very rude awakening for me, like all this stuff that I was chasing after, and the perception that having all the stuff and having the big house and the trophy wife and all this stuff was like, that's what it means to be successful. No, it's inaccurate. And when I realized that, that's when I really made a huge shift in my life. And so getting back to FlowFit, I mean, I've been doing yoga for, I don't know, 25 years, at least half my life. So probably even more than 20. And I've had chronic back pain pretty much all this time. And ever since I started doing FlowFit, I never really focused on my spine and my core that much. But ever since I started doing FlowFit, my spine is as loose as it's ever been in my life. I used to like go like back and forth, like now I have some curve going. So I really believe in the work that the two of you are doing, and all of your other teachers. And I just love it. So I want to thank you for it, because I'm going to keep doing it. So I'm really realizing, yes, yoga is good and it has its place, but it's certainly not the cure all. And this just has movements in it that yoga doesn't, particularly as it relates to the core and spine, that I really am benefiting from. So it's very helpful.
That's so awesome. On that note, we're going to regulate and turn it over to Hillary, who's going to take us through a regulation exercise, meaning getting grounded and centered in ourselves. And then we'll have a journaling question at the end. And it's really about asking your clear calm. What bold conversation do I need to have with myself right now? So going back to that higher self being guided in your leadership to have an impact. So I'm going to spotlight you, Hillary, and she's going to lead us through our own work of leadership.
So closing your eyes, rub your thighs, sense your feet on the floor. Those bold conversations that we need to have with ourselves to create self-awareness and make some changes and shifts for our own evolution. It starts right now, right here in this moment, in our bodies. We get out there. Our mind can trip out in a moment and get out there with all the information that's available everywhere, social media, the internet, the news. Yeah, so it's so important for our leadership to be able to tune in, drop out, like they said in the 60s. Tune in, turn on to your own sensations, your own body, your own breath, and drop out for a little bit so that you can be in and with yourself. Keep rubbing your thighs. Press your feet now into the floor. Press them and feel how your thighs are activated by pressing your feet into the floor, bringing you more present. Squeeze your glutes a little bit, like you're pushing yourself up off of your seat. Then press your hands down into your thighs and feel that counter pressure. So your feet are pressing into the floor, your glutes are squeezed, your hands are pressing down onto your thighs. It almost feels a little uncomfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill your core with breath. Hold it and increase the pressure a little bit. Slowly release through your mouth. Release the breath, release the pressure. It's like a sigh of relief. Let's build up the pressure again. We're teaching the nervous system how to identify the pressure and release it so that we can be regulated and centered as leaders. Press your feet into the floor, squeeze your glutes, press your hands into your thighs. This time, squeeze your shoulders up to your ears, keeping your face relaxed. Feel the counter pressure. Breathe in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Exhale, release the pressure. Let those shoulders come all the way down and wiggle your tail a little bit. Happy puppy tail. Like you're wagging your happy puppy tail. With your eyes closed, again, tuning into yourself. Press your feet into the floor. Squeeze your glutes. Press your hands down into your thighs. Lift your shoulders up. Breathe in through your nose. Fill up. Pressurize. And slowly release the pressure. Exhale. This time, tap your feet a little bit, just a little fast feet on the floor, and shake out your hands. Feel the release, the regulation that's already happening as we let our nervous system do what it's designed to do. Press your feet into the floor, squeeze your glutes, press your hands into your thighs. Breathe in and your shoulders squeeze up to your ears. Breathe in and hold. Expand the pressure. 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Exhale. Fast feet. Shake out your hands. And sit in ready stance. I am ready. Sense that readiness. I am ready to have a bold conversation with myself. I am ready. Reach out and pull your hands into your solar plexus. Shake a little bit like you're shaking a pair of dice in each hand. Shake the dice. I am willing. We have to be ready to have the bold conversation, right? We have to be willing to have the bold conversation. Reach out and pull in. Shake it up. I am willing. Again, reach out, pull in. I am willing. One hand over your heart, one hand just below your belly button on your core. Press your feet into the floor and breathe, pushing your lower hand out and then your upper hand up. Feel that breath filling you, like filling a balloon, and then pulling your navel in as you exhale. Sensing a wave of breath. Press your feet into the floor. Fill your belly, fill your chest, feel yourself expand. And breathe out through your mouth. Pull your navel in. Exhale, release. Do it again. Press your feet into the floor. Fill your belly. Fill your chest. Expand and increase the pressure. Then exhale. Pull your navel in. Release. I am able. Come back to neutral. I am able. I am able to have a bold conversation with myself to increase my leadership, to increase my presence, to increase the light that I shine into the world so people will want to follow me and come into my circle. I am able. Breathe in and reach your hands up overhead slowly, like you're sliding on a pair of golden gloves made out of life force energy. Straighten your arms if you can. Drop those shoulders. Pull your navel in toward your spine and shift a little bit in your seat. Feel yourself getting a little taller. Yeah. Press your feet into the floor and pull your navel toward your spine. Pull it and then release. Pull. Release, strengthening your core, strengthening your ability to hold your leadership power. Press your feet into the floor as you pull your navel in and release. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of the time, effort, and attention it takes to have that bold conversation with myself. I am worthy. Breathe in. As you exhale, cross your arms. One hand comes to each shoulder, heavy arms on your chest, safety shield. Wiggle your toes, connect with your feet, and then press your feet into the floor. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Yeah. And as you breathe in now, press that belly button forward, press your chest forward, and pull back. Navel pulls toward your spine, rounding over like a rocking chair. Breathe in, press forward, breathe out, pull back, mobilizing your spine, pulling life force up and down your core. Breathe in, breathe out, and we're increasing the safety now with every breath. It is safe to have a bold conversation with myself, to look at my own deepest truths so that I can grow and evolve. Breathe in, breathe out, rocking chair. Keep your rocking chair going. Slowly slide your hands down your arms, back onto your thighs, and now you can get a little bit more range of motion, maybe with your rocking chair. Breathe in and breathe out. Keep your feet pressed into the floor, grounded, present. Life force freely moving through you. I am ready. I am willing. I am able. I am worthy. I am safe. Breathe in and breathe out. Come back to neutral, to your ready stance. Happy puppy tail, wag your tail, and then bring that oscillation up and down your spine, integrating as you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Connect breath, integrating this regulation. And come back to ready stance. Tap just between your eyebrows. This is your place of intuition, otherwise known as your third eye. Just getting ready to journal and answer this question for yourself. Keep tapping. 2 questions. Number 1, what is your greatest challenge? Number 2, what is a bold conversation you need to have with this challenge? And what do you have to do to face it? I'll read you the questions again. Just tapping that question into your intuition. Hands come back onto your thighs. Take a deep breath in and hold. Press your feet into the floor. 3, 2, 1. Release. Shake out your hands. Fast feet. Just shake it all off. And 3 claps. 1, 2, 3. Get out your journals and I will read you this question again. 2 questions, actually 3 questions. 1, what is your greatest challenge? And you can put in parentheses as a leader, or just leave it, what is your greatest challenge? Number 2, what is a bold conversation I need to have with this challenge? How do I have to face this challenge? So go ahead and take all the time you need to write. Keep breathing.